Welcome to another edition of the International Polka Association Hall of Fame Series. My name's Rick Rzeszutko, and with us today is brand new inductee 2023 to the Hall of Fame, none other than Peter J Danielczuk. Hi, Peter.
Hey, how are you there, Mr. Rick?
Doing good. Here we are at the IPA Festival. What a great time, and what a beautiful banquet yesterday, and you were inducted, and very happy for you and Grażyna.
Thank you.
I guess they want to find out a little bit about you.
All right, well,
So we will,
let's begin how I started, I guess.
we'll keep it clean.
Okay, no dirtiness.
And as Leon said, be brief.
Beef, right. I missed that, boy. Anyhow, you know, this is my 53rd year on doing polka music on radio. I started back in 1970 when I was a student at the University of Connecticut. And I was doing some college radio work. When the program director of my local station needed somebody on a Sunday, he couldn't find anybody. Then he remembered I was doing some college work, so he called me up and says, "Can you come in on this Sunday and fill in?" I said, "Sure." So I went in and I engineered a polka show, which was done by Victor and Sophie Zabruski, who had a polka show in Connecticut for over 60 years. And a couple of weeks later, I went to pick up my check, and the guy who was the regular Sunday...
Wait. Check?
Yeah.
You got paid for
I got
that?
paid to engineering the show.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I went 2 weeks later to get my check, and the person who was doing Sundays quit when I was there. So the program director looked at me, "Do you want to do every Sunday?" And I said, "Sure." So I came home from the University of Connecticut every Sunday while I was in college and did the whole day. I engineered like 3 or 4 shows, then I had a couple hours of my own show to do. But I got tied in with Victor and Sophie Zabruski and learned a lot about polka music. Of course, I knew about polka music because when I was from being born, my father and mother would take Sunday drives all the time, and all they would do was play polka music on the Sunday drive. And so I grew up with polka music all my life. And of course, being Polish, what would a Polish boy do most of the time? I took accordion lessons also. And I played the accordion for maybe about 12 years, but unfortunately I gave that up to play high school and college football, which again, I regret now because college football doesn't do anything for me now. It'd be better if I still could play the squeeze box a little bit. But anyhow, that's how I got started in the polka music field. And then as the earlier years went on, I teamed up with Dick Yash, who's very well known, was in Connecticut, and I did a show with him for about 4 years. And of course, we all know Dick's kids, they're all great entertainers in the polka field now. And then I went on my own with my own polka celebration shows, and was on a bunch of radio stations, my hometown station, WNTY, which was in Southington, Connecticut, WDJZ. For over 20 years, I was on FM from the University of New Haven, WTNTY, and WNHU. And of course, for 12 years, I was on a station out of Bridgeport, Connecticut called WICC. Now, WICC went throughout the whole state of Connecticut, went to New York, a little bit Long Island. And in fact, this is the one you got to get the kick out of. I actually got paid on an AM station to do polka music. It was Saturday night for 3 hours, and I got an hourly pay. So every month I'd get a paycheck, and that's the only AM station I know of that would pay for polka music, you know.
So you've been basically a DJ for 53 years.
Yep.
Wow, that's good. And I know you've done promoting. You've done a little bit of singing, you've done a little bit of writing. I know you've had associations with some of the greats in polkas.
Yep.
Why don't you name a couple of those names?
Well, of course, through my lifetime, I had fortunate, even though he was sick already, I visited the great Frank Wodorowski in the convalescent home. And we used to talk a little bit, and he knew a little bit about polkas, not as much, but he was so funny. He would go around telling the staff that I was one of his lawyers and a good good lawyer, he would tell everybody. So well, we had some fun.
Advocat.
Yeah, advocat. But anyhow, we brought back Gene Wisniewski and his big band for the first time in probably 30 years. I brought him back at a big function with Jimmy Sturr in the orchestra. We had over 1,000 people at Warsaw Park in Ansonia for that dance. And the following year, we brought Ray Henry's big band back. And Gene, we used to talk, but the Maestro Ray, we became very close. Every time I'd go to a dance, there would be a break. He'd say, "Kid, come on, sit down with me." And we'd talk polkas, have a drink together. And I learned an awful lot from Ray. He was a super guy. In fact, he came on one of my radio shows, which was the first time in 20 years he even allowed himself to be interviewed on radio, which was quite an honor to have a Hall of Famer like that. Of course, Walt Solik, what can I say? He was the clown prince of polka music. And we went out to many, many dinners, and you know, I would call him Uncle Walt. He'd call me his nephew. And the stories he would tell, the long trips, the long weekends. I mean, they went playing polka music. They were on trips for 2 or 3 weeks, you know, and they just hit every town. And they played every day of the week, believe it or not. And the stories he would tell about that. And of course, Rich Babinski, who I helped get into the Hall of Fame, he was a true friend. And he actually had me record the first time I recorded a song called Skinny Minnie with him. And I wasn't skinny either at that time. But anyhow, we did Skinny Minnie, and he would call me up all the time on stage to sing with his band, which was quite an honor. But then he would call me at 1 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5 days a week, and start talking polka music. I said, "Rich, it's 1 o'clock. He said, "Don't worry about it, we're talking." And we would talk about polka music
You
and
didn't need to
everything.
sleep. So, quite a list. Wojnarowski, Ray Henry, Walt Solik, Rich Babinski. I know you as Jimmy Sturr.
Yeah.
I know you associate now with Dennis
Yeah.
Poliski.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Dennis, of course, we became close. We've been friends for over 30-something years.
so you're with all these polka greats, and now you're sitting here next to me.
That's right. And of course, we go way back too. And
Yes.
of course, Rick, you was, you know, one of the great presidents of the IPA for many, many
Thank
years. You've done a lot of work in the polka field. And the best thing about you is not you, it's your mom, Sally, who I love very much.
Of course.
So, she's a
Absolutely.
great gal.
So-
Anyhow.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about your family life.
Well, of course,
I know I met some of your children this
yeah,
weekend.
well, of course, I've been remarried for 18 years now to my wife, Grażyna. My first marriage, unfortunately, ended 28 years ago. I got married to a beautiful girl, and her name was Mary Ann, but after a year of marriage, she got cancer, then died a year and a half later. So I was only married 2.5 years. But that gave me the little encouragement to write the song Mary Ann, the Polka Angel, that Dennis Poliski and the Maestros men performed. So that was a nice song. But God was good. 10 years later, he introduced me to Grażyna, and it's the best thing that ever happened to my life. And she had 2 boys, so I have 2 stepsons, Peter and Conrad, and of course their wives, Agnieszka and Eva. But I have 4 grandchildren because of that, 2 in Poland, Marysia and Zosia. And Marysia, she's 17 and has a beautiful voice.
I've seen
A lot of
some
people
her
I listed on Facebook, and they
Yes.
all great comments. So I'm hoping to do some stuff with her a little bit, her and me singing, and some kolende maybe coming out.
That'd be beautiful.
And then my other 2 from the Chicago area, South Elgin, Kaspatic and Nicole. And they happened to have been at the induction ceremony, so I was so proud to have them here too. Unfortunately, I didn't have my sister Karen here because she has a hard time walking right now, but again, she's been a big part of my life too, loving polka music and everything.
Very cool. Okay, so we got all that. Now, outside of polkas, what is? You have an interesting outside of polka life.
You know, it's funny. You know, I'm going to be 72, and it keeps me young though, because I just keep going. This year, I'm celebrating 50 years in involvement in my city government in the city of Ansonia, which is my hometown. I actually got elected my first year in 1973 when I graduated UConn. I got elected to the Board of Aldermen right away. It's, you know, I was young. I ended up serving on the board for over 25 years. I was president of the board for 12 years, which is the longest running term of a person as president of the board. I was fire commissioner. I was arms commissioner, which is Ansonia Rescue and Medical. And currently I am a police commissioner in the city of Ansonia.
So if I get a parking ticket, I could come to you and...
we charge you double.
Oh, we won't talk about that.
We charge you double, don't worry.
Okay.
But anyhow,
Cash?
but we've been involved for a long time in city government, which is great. I'm also a justice of the peace. I'm a Eucharistic minister. I'm a notary public. You name it, basically I can do it. So
And you sell cars too.
And I sell cars too. And I always tell everybody, it says, might be a used car salesman. I study a little law at UConn, but I show them my picture at my desk of me holding hands with St. Pope John Paul. So I said, I can't be too bad, because that was one of the highlights of our life, my father and me having a private audience with the late Pope John Paul.
That was amazing. I remember
exactly.
in Chicago, when he came to Chicago, our parish pastor was friends with Bishop Abramovich, who was friends with the Pope before he was the Pope.
Pope,
and,
yeah.
and we were there at Five Holy Martyrs, and amazing. It just was an amazing time. That's cool.
And of course, I've been also involved in the community, the Polish community. I'm a past national director of the Polish Falcons Association, was vice president of my local club for many, many years. I promoted Polish heritage all the time on even my shows, or I would get billboards donated for Polish American Heritage Month throughout the state of Connecticut. So with that, I was awarded at one time, I got the Gold Cross of Merit from the President of Poland, the government of Poland, which was a great ceremony in New York City at the consulate there. And of course, I was inducted into the Broadcasters Hall of Fame in 2007. And of course, other awards, I guess we could mention the other association, the USPA, United States Polk Association. I have their Lifetime Achievement Award for them too. So it's been an interesting life, say
Quite a resume.
You know.
Yes, and you were on the board of the IPA for many years. You were
17 years.
As we used to tease you, you're the sergeant with arms.
With arms,
Yes,
right.
Sergeant at arms.
And of course, you know how that happened. My first time I went to a IPA convention and meeting, so I said, all right, I'll go to the meeting, and I'm sitting there, and I think there was like 4 times they asked 4 different people if they wanted to be sergeant of arms, and nobody wanted it, and the late Marge Mahai and Tish Blazonczyk turned around and said, hey you, how about you?
Well, here, I have to stop you there, because yesterday at the banquet, you were telling that story. You said, hey you. Tish said, I never said hey you. I told her, stand up and tell them, but okay.
Or Marge might have said
Yeah,
it, whatever. One of them did.
Whatever.
And I got elected, and then that started my career. And
Basically, that's when I got to know you better. And Dave was Dave president at the time?
No, whatchamacallit was
Ken Gill?
president. Ken Gill first,
The late
and
Ken
then
Gill.
Dave.
Then Dave.
And of course, Dave, I love Dave.
Yeah.
He was a great.
Dave's still alive and
Yeah.
kicking. You should give him a call.
I have to. I
Yes.
have to. And then, of course, you took over, and now Christy. And I'll tell you, through the years on the board, I have seen so many things develop now. Because, you know, when I first got on there, you were on there, we were still old-fashioned type of board and everything. And we used to only go for one meeting, our out-of-towners, and you'd fly us in and stuff. But now everything is, technology today is great. Everybody goes to the meeting virtually, and you know, Chris Bogdan has done such a tremendous job with all the technology
And Keith,
now, and
Keith
Keith
Danielczuk.
Danielczuk. And it's so great to see the IPA current, and there's a lot more coming, I know.
Yes.
And that's why it's important.
Christy and Chris and the entire board, Danny, you know.
The whole board.
I
I
shouldn't
mean,
have started mentioning names. Yes.
No, because I tell you what, my speech and the thing, I didn't mention names, but I said the entire older boards and the current boards. It was just a pleasure to work with because everybody who served worked.
And that's one of the wonderful things, and partly because of people like you, that IPA is 55 years old. And, you know, when you get right down to it and think, something to last 55 years and keep going and keep vibrant.
Vibrating, yeah.
And you know, it's a wonderful thing. Well, Pete, is there anything else you want to tell us about?
No,
do you bowl or play hockey or?
Well, I did play high school and college football.
I know you
That
like
was
to
that.
eat.
Well, we like to do that. You and me both.
We both do, yes.
You know that.
Yeah.
But no, I like watching sports. Yeah, of course, I'm a big UConn.
Unfortunately,
basketball
though, I heard yesterday
fan.
Jackie said you're a Yankee fan.
I also, the year wasn't too good for us there. But UConn basketball is the national champions, don't forget, this year.
Well, all you tell Jackie Libera is how many championships
that's
does
easy to
Boston
do,
have
too.
in their lifetime, and how many do the Yankees?
And I know you're still a Chicago fan.
Yeah, well, I told Jackie, you're a fan of the wrong color socks.
And you still go to games and stuff.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah,
We played Polish night there this year, so.
which is great, you know.
Yes.
You see, you know, what's great, you see more and more, I think some of the ball clubs are starting to do a little more Polish nights too, which
Yes.
hopefully that'll help us a little bit.
Yep.
Because we still need to promote more. Unfortunately, you know, it's not like we were years ago when we get 1,000 people at a dance and 500, 600. I mean, even the best bands alive, they're lucky sometimes, and that's why we have to keep promoting too.
we were
and that's
pretty
why
lucky.
we need us, but we need the younger kids to
You're a
help
little
us,
older
too.
than me, but, you know, we were lucky to the point where I actually heard Wally live. I heard Eddie live. I heard Louis live. You know,
Right.
all the other
Well,
bands.
same
Again,
thing.
not
You know, we
one,
heard
Lush,
them.
you know, not one. I played with Wally. I played with Lush. I
Lush,
played
oh.
a couple jobs with Eddie. You know, it's like now it's nice that the kids are still wanting, the younger guys wanting to play that music. Still.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's-
which is good. There's a lot
it's
of young kids up and coming too.
A lot of history, yes.
But we have to get more of the youngers at the dance. That's the problem, you know. But you go out to Wisconsin, I guess, and that they're loaded sometimes.
Certain events,
areas,
yes.
yeah,
Pulaski
you know.
Days is one of the things that you have to go there to experience it. It's
Well, that's like in my area, and that's what I love, and I help them out. I do security for, so I keep them out with polka at New London, you know, Ocean Beach.
Richie and
because
Wally.
Richie, well, I love working with them, and I volunteer to do, you know, even though I'm 70-something years old. Hey, I'll be security for you guys. I'll help you out because you know what? We got to keep.
somebody
polkas
told me
going.
only do that because they let you in for free.
No, that was the other way I got
Just kidding.
in because of the jammer.
Well, Pete, I guess in closing, you have anything you'd like to
Yeah,
say?
I just
Closing
wanna-
statement. I know how you close your
Yeah,
radio
no,
show, but
number one, I want to thank all the electors again of the IPA for their votes, but more importantly, all the polka fans out there, because without polka fans, what would you and me be?
Exactly.
Not a lot. We'd be big guys yet, but that's about it.
we'd still be eating.
Yeah, we'll still be eating. But you know what? It's all the fans out there who we thrive on them, and it makes us more exciting and more wants me to do more. I love entertaining people. I'm sure, and so do you, because how many years you've been entertaining. And again, you said as I close my show, I say God bless, stay safe. Remember one thing: we are all one family, all one big polka family. God bless Poland, and God bless America and our beautiful polkas.
Thank you, everyone. It's Peter Danielczuk, 2023 inductee to the International Polka Association Hall of Fame. Thank you very much, and keep on tuning in to see new interviews that happen all the time. Thank you.